Most men never realize the exact moment a woman starts emotionally leaving them, because on the outside, she still smiles. She still texts back. She still says, "I'm fine." But deep inside, something has already changed. And the scary part is, most men don't lose women because they're ugly, broke, or not masculine enough. They lose women because they never understood what women silently needed from them in the first place. A woman can love you deeply and still slowly detach herself emotionally while lying next to you every night. And what I'm about to tell you today might completely change how you see women forever. Because women rarely say these things out loud. Not because they want to play games, but because once a woman has to explain certain things too many times, the feelings start dying. And trust me, the last two things women wish men understood are the exact reasons many relationships quietly collapse. So if you think women are too complicated, stay with me until the end. Because most men don't realize this. But women are actually very easy to understand once you finally see what's happening beneath the surface. The first thing women wish men understood is that small things are never small to us. Most men think attraction is built through grand gestures, expensive gifts, big speeches, special dates. But here's what actually happens. A woman remembers the tiny moments more than the big ones. The way you looked at her when she was insecure. The way you listened when she talked about something nobody else cared about. The way you noticed her mood changing before she said anything. That's what creates emotional safety. Because women are constantly observing emotional details men usually ignore. And this is where everything changes. A man can spend hundreds of dollars on a date. But if he makes her feel emotionally unseen, the attraction slowly fades anyway. Meanwhile, another man remembers her favorite coffee order one single time. And suddenly, she can't stop thinking about him. Most men don't realize this, but women fall in love emotionally first. And the next thing women wish men understood explains why so many nice guys still get rejected. Women do not want perfection. They want emotional presence. A lot of men think being attractive means saying the perfect thing all the time. But honestly, women can feel when a man is performing. We can feel when you're trying too hard to impress us instead of actually connecting with us. And what happens next is something most men miss. The moment a woman feels like she's talking to a mask instead of a real person, emotional attraction weakens. That's why confidence feels attractive. Not because confidence is loud, but because confidence feels emotionally relaxed. A woman feels safer around a man who's comfortable being himself than around a man desperately trying to win approval. And this leads to something women almost never say out loud. We don't always need solutions. Sometimes we just need understanding. This one destroys more relationships than men realize. A woman opens up emotionally, and immediately the man goes into fix-it mode. He starts giving advice, logical answers, step-by-step solutions. But here's what actually happens inside her mind. She starts feeling emotionally alone, because in that moment she didn't need a mechanic. She needed a partner emotionally sitting beside her. Most men don't realize this, but emotional validation creates intimacy faster than problem solving. Sometimes the most attractive thing a man can say is simply, "That sounds really hard." Not because women are weak, but because emotional connection matters deeply to feminine psychology. And what I'm about to tell you next is where many men accidentally push women away without noticing. Women notice emotional inconsistency immediately. If a man is deeply attentive one week, then cold the next, it creates emotional anxiety. And no, it's not because women are dramatic. It's because uncertainty destroys emotional safety. A woman starts asking herself, did I do something wrong? Is he losing interest? Was any of it even real? Most men don't realize this, but women are constantly reading emotional energy, not just words. And this is where everything changes. A man who consistently shows calm attention often becomes more attractive over time than a man who creates emotional chaos. Because stability feels rare now, especially in modern dating. And speaking of modern dating, here's something women secretly wish men understood about communication. Silence communicates too. A man thinks, I'm just busy. I'll text later. It's not a big deal. But what happens next is something most men miss. Women often interpret emotional distance before men even realize they created it. Now listen carefully. This doesn't mean women expect constant texting every second. That's not the point. The point is emotional reassurance. A woman wants to feel emotionally considered. Even small messages matter sometimes. Hope your day's going okay. Drive safe. Thinking about you. Tiny things. Huge emotional impact. And the reason this matters connects directly to the next thing women almost never explain correctly. Women want to feel chosen, not merely tolerated. This one is powerful because a lot of men stay physically present while becoming emotionally unavailable. They stop flirting, stop noticing her, stop making her feel desired. And slowly, she starts feeling invisible. Most men don't realize this, but women need emotional reassurance even when they act independent. A woman can be strong, successful, confident, and still deeply crave emotional affection from the man she loves. And this is where everything changes. When a woman stops feeling emotionally wanted, she slowly stops trying. Not instantly, not dramatically, quietly. That's the dangerous part. Because by the time most men notice her emotional distance, she's already been hurting for months. Now let me ask you something. Have you ever been in a situation where a woman suddenly became cold and you genuinely had no idea why? Because if you have, comment real below. I promise you, most men watching this have experienced that exact moment without understanding what caused it. And what I'm about to tell you next might explain it completely. Women pay attention to how men react to vulnerability. This is huge. A woman tests emotional safety before she fully opens her heart. Not with games, not with manipulation. With vulnerability, she tells you something embarrassing, something emotional, something insecure, and then she watches carefully. Do you dismiss it? Mock it? Ignore it? Use it against her later? Most men don't realize this, but women remember emotional reactions forever. One cruel response during a vulnerable moment can emotionally close a woman off for years. But here's what actually happens when a man responds with calm understanding. Trust deepens rapidly, because emotional safety creates feminine softness. And this connects to another truth many men misunderstand completely. Women don't always leave because they stopped loving you. Sometimes they leave because loving you became emotionally exhausting. That line hurts, but it's true. A woman can deeply love a man and still feel emotionally drained by him, especially if she constantly feels unheard, unseen, or emotionally neglected. And what happens next is something most men miss. She stops arguing. Most men think arguments are the problem, but silence is usually much worse. Because when a woman stops trying to explain her feelings, she often starts emotionally disconnecting instead. And by then, the relationship is already in danger. Now, here's something women secretly admire more than men realize. Emotional maturity. Not money. Not muscles. Not status. Those things can create attraction initially. But emotional maturity determines whether emotional intimacy survives long-term. Can you stay calm during conflict? Can you listen without becoming defensive? Can you apologize sincerely without protecting your ego? Most men don't realize this, but emotional maturity feels masculine to women. A man who can regulate his emotions creates peace around him, and peace is incredibly attractive to feminine energy. But the next point that might be the hardest truth for men to hear. Women wish men understood that effort matters more than perfection. A woman does not expect you to read minds perfectly. She doesn't expect flawless behavior. What hurts her is when she feels like you stopped trying. Because effort communicates value. When a man genuinely tries to understand a woman, even imperfectly, she feels loved. But when he becomes emotionally lazy, that's when resentment quietly begins growing. And this is where everything changes. Women notice patterns more than promises. Anybody can say, I care about you. But daily actions reveal the truth. And now we arrive at the final two things women wish men understood. The things that quietly decide whether love grows stronger or slowly dies. The first is this. Women want emotional partnership, not emotional loneliness beside someone. This is deeper than romance. A woman wants to feel like you're emotionally with her in life, that it's us against the problem instead of me against your ego. Most men don't realize this, but women are incredibly loyal when they feel emotionally protected. Not controlled, protected emotionally. There's a difference. A woman becomes deeply attached to a man who makes life feel emotionally lighter instead of emotionally heavier. And the final thing women wish men understood is the most important of all. A woman never forgets how a man made her feel about herself. Never. Long after the dates, the gifts, the attraction, she remembers the emotional experience of being around you. Did she feel safe, beautiful, heard, wanted, respected? Or did she slowly start feeling anxious, invisible, and emotionally alone? Because what happens next is something most men completely overlook. Women emotionally attach to feelings first and people second. That's why one man can technically do everything right and still fail to create emotional connection, while another man with flaws becomes unforgettable because of how emotionally safe she felt around him. And maybe that's the biggest secret of all. Women are not asking men to become perfect. They're asking men to become emotionally aware. Because once a woman feels emotionally understood, truly understood, her entire energy changes. She becomes softer, warmer, more affectionate, more loyal. Not because she was forced to, but because emotional safety unlocks parts of a woman most men never get to experience. So if you learned something from this video, don't just hear these words. Actually think about them. Because the men who understand women emotionally are usually the men women never forget. And if you want more videos exposing the truths about attraction, dating, and female psychology that most people never talk about, make sure you subscribe. Because the next video might reveal the exact reason women pull away, even when they still love you.